Each of us has our own unique background and story of how we became a part of Chiefs Kingdom.
Our reach is far and wide, with fans all over the world cheering on our Kansas City Chiefs.
Everyone donning the red and gold has figuratively signed that mutual agreement and come together for one common purpose.
For 76,000 of us at a time, to descend upon Arrowhead, man our stations, let out our loudest battle cry to the tune of 142.2 decibels, and make that stadium rock until our opponents beg for mercy.
We are unrelenting in our pride for this city, these players, and this team. This is the show for the Allies, Arrowhead Allies.
Welcome into Arrowhead Allies, everybody. I mean, we've dropped one to the Bills, but we are going to be fine. But it may get a little spirited here between the Allies because we have got a lot to get into. But wherever you're watching this, if you're on Twitter, like and give us a follow, retweet that show. If you're on Facebook, share, give us a follow, like. We want your comments flooding in here. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And boy, we have got one for you today. This is Nitro Noah Groniger, as always, being joined by Mr. Electricity himself, Clint Schweitzer, and our guys. We're going to start off with Brian B. Shinen from Hot 103 Jams. And then we've got the Money Badger, Mykell Matthew out there in sunny Los Angeles, California. TGN, The Good News. I'm not sure JC Jackson's he might be visiting you because he wants the good news. He doesn't want any more bad news after being benched on Monday Night Football. Man. And then, of course, we've got Shaggy Shane Williams from Shaggy Shane Entertainment. You can find him on YouTube, does Chiefs postgame. He's got you locked down, covered there. Guys, welcome into the show. And, Brian, I just got to start with you because you just got to talk us off this ledge after this Bills loss. You know, Clint and I are on the ledge. Talk us off, my friend.
Hey man, it was a big game. What's the fret about? If we lost a big game, who cares?
I like winning. I'm a winner. I like winning. Oh.
Yeah, well, this team ain't gonna go undefeated. That's fine. We tried that in 2020 and it didn't work our way. But regardless, look, it was a big game. We had some rookies out there that didn't, you know, they gave up a couple plays. Okay, Patrick Mahomes threw a couple interceptions. Okay. I can understand if y'all felt like this last year after the Bills game, because last year the Chiefs honestly got dog walked on Sunday Night Football for the nation to see. You know, it came down to a few big plays that the Bills made. Like, you know, they were salty after, you know, getting scored upon in 13 seconds. It's fine. Von Miller, he came to play. He knows this stadium. He knows us. He was a difference maker, and as well as those interceptions that we'll get into a little later on. But listen, fellas, we lost a close game to everybody's Super Bowl favorite. There's nothing to frown about.
And let me say this. I want to give before we critique the Chiefs, and we will, I got a lot to say.
Yes.
Let's talk specifically about what Buffalo did and what they had to do. Von Miller showed that we laughed. Ha ha. You gave a 34-year-old outside linebacker defensive end that much money. He's not going to last. They got him on a so-called pitch count. Von Miller came to play. Von Miller deserves the game ball. Those wide receivers, Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs, along with Knox, their tight end, took advantage of two rookie cornerbacks, not using that as an excuse at all. The Buffalo Bills took that, and they ran with it. Is the second best quarterback in the AFC. He wants to be Patrick Mahomes. He wants to be an MVP. He wants to be a Super Bowl MVP, something that Buffalo has never experienced and that will never has yet to understand. They have never understood that euphoria because they went to 4 straight Super Bowls between 1990 and 93, and they lost them all. They are a strong team. That defensive line can get after it. Yes, they had some holes in their back alley of their secondary, but their corners played well enough. Most importantly, their front seven shut down the Chiefs' running game, which we will definitely expand on that. But the Bills stopped the Chiefs' running game. For the most part, they kept Kelsey down, even though he did get his 100. Juju Smith-Schuster, they let Juju Smith-Schuster get a big play, and he went over 100 yards. But for the most part, they kept the Chiefs in check. And when they had to, and with 1 minute left in the game, they brought in Von Miller, who was double teamed. They forced Patrick Mahomes out of the pocket. Masano, the linebacker, his name escapes, number 58. I think it's
Milano, yeah.
Matt Milano. He was
got
damn good.
Yep.
He got in front of Patrick Mahomes' face. Milano had a great game, made that play, flushed Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes tried to do what he does and throws around him, which he's great at. The safety read it because Patrick pump faked it, and it was intercepted. Buffalo Bills came to a hostile environment, just like they did 371 days before that, and they won a game. This one was more of a fight, but hats off to Buffalo. They did what they had to do to come in and win this game. What do you think, Mykell?
Man, I just think that, it's a great win by the Buffalo Bills. Got to remember it's early season, and if you would have told me that the Chiefs has a chance to be 5-2 going into the bye, I would be like, I'll take it, because of the schedule looked so crazy beforehand. It had people out there, pundits, a few idiots as well, saying the Chiefs wouldn't even make the playoffs, where you have a chance to get out of it 5-2. And just a few names that didn't play in this game. Trent McDuffie, do we think he's an important figure for this Kansas City defense? I think he is. Willie Gay, do we think he's an important piece? I think he is. So for the Chiefs to walk out of there with a tough, close loss, 24-20, it's nothing to look down upon. I just think the Chiefs, they have to improve on some things. Of course, running the ball, stopping the run, and figuring a way out to get to Josh Allen a little more, which now they're going to have time. They're going to have this game tape to go and study to get better. But it was a lot of positives I saw. We saw who our number one receiver is with Juju playing the way that he played. And now we just got to get it together. So I am not panicking at all. Great win by the Buffalo Bills. I was chopping it up with a bunch of people on Twitter, said, let me know where you can find a Super Bowl champion that was won in October, and I will buy a Lombardi trophy for that team. So the Chiefs are going to be all right.
Hey, hail to the Chief. We saw the Buffalo News the next day. The Buffalo Bills have, in fact, won that October Lombardi, which I talked about. I've been resigned to this fate, guys, since before this schedule was announced. I knew what this was. I knew exactly what the narrative would be. Now, the game came down to Patrick Mahomes throwing 2 costly interceptions. And the good news is that is uncharacteristic, and that's not something that is a problem or that happens often. So when you look at that and you look at that's why you lost, you can live with that because that's not something that would happen again, very likely. We're going to look at some stats here in a little bit, though, that show that the fourth quarter for Patrick Mahomes has been a giant struggle here this season. But, guys, to me, this was more of a missed opportunity. And I said that after the Colts game. You go into play this Indianapolis Colts team. You walked away with a loss there. We said, okay, we can live with this. It happens. It's the NFL. This is one of those chances where the Chiefs led at least 50% of this game and led the game with 2 minutes to go and had the ball with 1 minute to go with a timeout or two to go win it. So missed opportunity, yes. Obviously now the road to the number 1 seed goes through Buffalo. There are bigger tragedies in the world than to have to navigate that. There's no rule that says that the teams are going to finish with the same record or that that's going to even be a factor. So no, I don't think that there's anyone that should be, teetering over a ledge here. No panic here. The Chiefs, obviously with a big opportunity here to go to 5-2. You said it, Mykell, we'll take it. Although when I look at a schedule, when Alex Smith was here, that's what I would look at. I'd go, if we could just be 4-3 heading into that bye week, we have a chance then to win 2. And then we'll see. With this Chiefs team, I feel a little different under Mahomes, Reed, and Kelsey, but that's where we are, and it's definitely not a bad place to be in.
Even with this schedule?
Oh yeah, well the schedule's loosening up if you think about it. I mean, this is all of a sudden these AFC West games. The Denver Broncos are lost. The Chargers have won 3 straight, but they look awful doing it. Mm-hmm. Close win over the Texans. They barely get by the Browns. Should have lost that game. They go to overtime with Denver. So right now the Chiefs and Chargers are technically tied, but no panic here. We'll see how things go.
And I just think that coming into the season, knowing that the roster was so young, the Chiefs have one of the youngest rosters on both ends of, both sides of the field.
Yeah.
I think, it's just some coaching. Coaching has to figure out the running game. We know that we aren't an east-west running team. We have to fix that and make us more north-south, and I think that will help a lot. But I would take this, man. If we could take care of business this coming Sunday in Frisco, I think that, the Chiefs are going to be okay. Buffalo, you guys can take this win. We remember last year when Buffalo beat us, all the fans were screaming and going crazy. We got you guys. We figured you out. But we see how it ends at the end of the season. And that's what we're playing for. We don't play for October victories. We play to try to win and play in February. So, Buffalo, you can take this win. Now it's just that revenge tour. If we see you again, it's going to be trouble.
Right. And like I always said, or like I said Sunday after the show, in Patrick Mahomes' Hall of Fame storybook career, he's going to eventually have to play some playoff games on the road.
Yeah.
Ideally, we get greedy. Come week 16 or week 17, if the Chiefs and Bills are tied, we're going to be following the schedule closely, hoping, how are we going to get home field? How are we going to get this bye? But long in the totality of Patrick Mahomes' career, he's eventually going to have to go on the road and expand on his iconic greatness.
I want to piggyback on something Mykell said earlier about coming into the season. Look, man, you're either extremely naive or just don't know football. If you thought that this Chiefs team wasn't going to give up big plays in the secondary, it is what it is. It's going to happen with this young team. It's going to just like you're going to get a pick six from this young team and with Jalen Watson. It's going to be a lot of boom or bust, especially with a lack of pass rush, which we'll dig into in a little bit. But look, man, giving up big plays is no big deal. I thought the defense kept everything. Well, not everything. I thought they kept things in control as much as they could. Thought they played well.
Yeah, I just don't think you can leave Josh Williams on an island out
Arrowhead
there.
Allies last week. The Chiefs only going to give up 24 points. Oh, we're taking that all day against the Bills.
Right.
So with all that being considered, man, the young guys are going to be much, much better later on against the Bengals when we play them in December. Later on in the playoffs when perhaps we're playing the Chargers and we got to see Keenan Allen and we got to see 81 again. I think these guys will be better for this later on. Trust me.
Yeah, I just don't think you can leave Josh Williams on an island. They're a little bit damned if you do, damned if you don't, because we can't get pressure with just our front four. So Spags felt like he had to blitz. And unfortunately, your best blitzer is also your best corner. And so that means that you're leaving Watson and Williams kind of out there on an island. You might have one high safety. And I thought that high safety almost had to be told you have to play over Josh Williams' side. We're going to trust Jalen Watson. We've seen what he can do early in the season. He's got the snaps. He's proven that he can have some good coverage out there. So we needed to leave him on the island. But Josh Williams cannot be left on an island versus Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis. I thought that was just a crime. But like I said, you're a little bit damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Okay,
Ron,
exactly. Because you go into the red zone in the fourth quarter with 1:04 left, and Josh Allen, he's just hanging out there. He has his robe on from the Hilton Carlton or whatever the hotel you want to say. All right, he has his pink slippers on, just sitting there in the pocket with his cup of coffee, drinking it, while Frank Clark doodles God knows what on the right side. So he's just sitting there picking apart and cooking up our defense. So you give him 5-6 seconds to throw a dart to Dawson Knox to end the game. So I'm with the blitzing. I'm with leaving your corners on the island if you can in certain situations. Third and long, I'm with it all day. Third and short in the goal line, not so much. So,
and that's why I wasn't a fan, Brian, of the call late in the first half. We had him 3rd and 13.
Yeah,
a chance to get the ball. He didn't blitz. He dropped into cover 2, and they were able to beat us to get that first down. We have to realize that we're going to have to blitz when it comes to this team. Frank Clark isn't that guy to go and get pressure. Carlos Dunlap isn't playing the same. Karlaftis is still trying to find his way as a rookie. We pretty
only
much
18 sacks away from Shane's prediction of 18 and a half sacks.
Slowly but surely.
Yeah.
So,
well,
we just have to figure out, ways to pressure. But that's why a guy like McDuffie is so important, because if he's going to be our best cover corner, we're going to need him out there. And we haven't had him since week 1. So that's why, we've been having to learn what we have. We learned that Jalen Watson can kind of play and hold his own. That's a plus. We know that we have Snead. Fenton is still a vet compared to Josh. And if you saw the adjustment made, what happened was Spags switched Josh and Jalen's side. He made Josh go to the opposite side, and he kind of played a little better. So, with McDuffie back, it's going to be a lot. Fenton's going to be back. Brian Cook, guy that they kind of trust to play, some deep coverage. For Buffalo, you beat a Chief team that was like really shorthanded. That's only going to get better. So I wouldn't have too much praise for yourself. You remember the year we won the Super Bowl? The Texans beat the Chiefs.
The Colts.
The Titans beat the Chiefs. And when we saw them again, we smacked them up. So I'm not in any type of panic at all.
Well, I got some critique to do. I don't know if that's the cops coming to arrest me or what. What is that? No,
Mykell's in South Central right now, man.
Yeah, it's a little wild. The Lakers are about to play, so man, they're too excited over here.
You need to run to stay safe, Mykell. We understand.
While there is concern about Joshua Williams and the inexperience with the cornerbacks in the defensive backfield, the Chiefs' offense deserves a lot of blame for losing this game. Now,
yes,
please hear me out. Chris Jones gets a monster sack with there was some question it might be tripping, but he got the sack. With 8 minutes and 40 seconds left in the game, the Chiefs had the lead. The Bills punted. The Chiefs took over at their own 28, up 20-17 with 8 minutes and 15 seconds left in this game. Regardless of what Joshua Williams getting shredded for 2 touchdowns, the Chiefs are up 20-17 with 8 minutes left in the game. I said to my wife, I said, honey, all we need here is that we got to get a championship offensive drive, just a 5-minute drive for a touchdown, not a field goal, a touchdown. If we go up by 10 with 3 minutes left, all the pressure will be on them to score real quick and use their timeouts. This is where we want to be. This is where we want to be. Let's establish a running game. Let's move the chains. Let's use up that clock.
Let's get a ball to Michael Burton.
Yeah, my wife said, well, what about a 7-minute drive? I said, honey, it's a dream scenario. Just give me a 5-minute drive. We can't go for a field goal. And I'm sure we were all thinking it. Okay.
3 and out.
Okay, but for the fourth game in a row, throw out Tampa Bay. 3 out of the last 4 games, 2 losses. The Chiefs have had the football on offense in the fourth quarter with a lead. If you're a championship caliber offense, you establish your running game. You do what you do to milk that clock. And the Chiefs are missing that running game bad. We could sit here and pick on Clyde. Jerick McKinnon had only 2 carries for 1 yard. We're not running the football. Our tackles on both sides aren't having that good of a season so far. Yes, we're 4-2, but our offensive tackles aren't playing that good. How do you build some confidence into them? Run the football.
Shame.
I know it's not in Andy Reid's DNA, but we saw when they wanted to run the football against Tampa Bay, they ran the football. That was paramount, regardless of all the rookies we had. At that point in time, with 8 minutes and 15 seconds left, you're up by 3. You established that running game. You milked that clock. And what do championship offenses do? They go 72 yards down the field, take 5 minutes off the clock, and get a touchdown. Don't let Von Miller freaking beat Andrew Wiley on 3rd and 9, one-on-one. That is unacceptable. The Chiefs offense cannot let these freaking teams hang around. When you're the freaking foundation, when you're Patrick Mahomes, Eric Bieniemy, Travis Kelce, everybody on the offensive roster who respects this team, you freaking go down the field and you put these teams away. It was paramount. We could have put them away. We should have went downfield and got a freaking 72-yard touchdown drive. That is my rant. That is my critique. And if it would have happened, we wouldn't have cared about Joshua Williams giving up 2 touchdowns because the Chiefs would have freaking won the game. So my blame, a lot goes on the offense.
Oh, Shane, hey, when the Chiefs had the ball with 6 minutes left, I was right with you. I said, I told my wife, I said, Josh Allen should not touch the ball again this game. He shouldn't touch it again. Keep him off the field. Do exactly to them what teams do to Patrick Mahomes. But the Chiefs failed to do it, and you hit it on the head with that lack of running game. But also, I think the one thing that is equally concerning is a lack of killer instinct. And it goes right with what you just said, Shane, with your rant. So I was right there with you, fam.
Yeah, and the same thing was last week. The Chiefs punt the ball back to the Raiders. We talked about that first, second, and third down series there that led to a punt. And that could have put the game away right there. The Raiders could have easily come down and won that game. So here we are, Noah, and I think you have a graphic here that's going to show some of these fourth quarter woes for Mahomes just himself as we look at this offense. The 54.9 passer rating, worst in the NFL. And no, this is not Skip Bayless talking. We needed him in here to narrate this. Two game-ending interceptions now. It's technically true. The Colts game, I don't really consider that. That's a desperation mode of a situation to try to get into field goal range there with no kicker. So I don't know what that was. It was
miscommunication between Juju and Mykell.
Yeah.
So, but you see that, and there's some concern there. This stems back from the AFC Championship game and the second half and the fourth quarter of that game, and now we've seen it a few times here. But guys, we've talked about the weapons all year, and that's just kind of something that's going to be ever changing. You know, Mykell's talked about that this unit has to gel and come together. Juju said that the same thing, and he got his first touchdown. But I want to look at two former second-round picks and kind of, I know that this is a very small sample size, but kind of comparing what we have in Mykell Hardman and what we have in Sky Moore, because my concern is obviously it's unfounded and it's way too early, but that Sky Moore is Mykell Hardman all over again. As you look here at this comparison, first 6 games for both guys, I mean, Mykell Hardman had 291 yards, a touchdown, and was averaging 21 yards per punt return through those 6 games. Sky Moore, just 6 catches for 100, no TDs, and obviously a fumble against the Colts there. So
when did that? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I'd forgotten all about it. I'll take that to my deathbed. So just looking at these two right here, these are 2 second-round picks. We talked about trying to get the weapons surrounded Patrick Mahomes. You go and you get MVS, you get Juju. That's great, except for 4 years into Mykell and 6 games into Sky Moore. I don't know what we have in these second-round picks, and that is a detriment right here to me.
That's fair criticism.
Yeah, I think those weapons, we're going to continue to see them grow. We're going to see more of Sky Moore. He's starting to get more snaps in. But I think it comes down to what Shane was talking about, running the football. You know, we all remember the Super Bowl championship. We played the Niners. You hand the ball off to Mr. Williams there, and Damian Williams takes it to the house. That's how we were closing games, with that guy. So we have to try to find a way so that we can have some type of play action so that you can help these tackles out. I have no issue. Juju showed us what he can do. Travis is Travis. Sky Moore made a play or two here. We know that Mykell made some plays. I would have loved to see him flatten out his route on the first pass at the end of the game, but that's what Mykell does. It sucks that MVS had 0 catches, 0 yards, but I just think that we have to find a way to run the ball. I thought coming into the season that they will focus more on that. Without a guy like Tyreek Hill, we're going to make you guys have to respect our running game. But for some reason, they just can't find out how to run. I think they have to find out who is going to be the guy. Who is the guy that you're going to trust, that you're going to hand the ball off to? Let's learn how this guy likes to run, whether it's east, west, north, south. And we're going to be able to pound you and make the game easier for Pat so that he can play action and so they can open up for the play action screen game as well. But if you think Pat is just going to drop back and pass, you don't have Tyreek Hill. So you can't try to win that way. They have to try to find a new way. So I'm curious to see if Andy and Bieniemy is going to try to find out what that way is.
Please, can I have this dance?
Yes.
Please?
Go for it.
All right. So Shane, you just had your rant. This might be my rant of the week. This running game. We got to talk about it because I think offensively is probably the biggest detriment to us not being successful.
No separation from the receivers.
And this is and this is going to go right into that because I think the Chiefs are still running this offense as if we still have Tyreek Hill. Mm-hmm. We can't do that. We don't have this guy had game-changing speed. Literally, he's on the field, and teams have to adjust everything they have to do. We don't have that threat anymore. What we do have is a mauling offensive line, and we're not using the offensive line right. We're not. Orlando Brown, we're asking him to go against 50 and sometimes maybe 40 against the Bills when his footwork ain't really there for Von Miller. Like Von Miller's going to run around him. Period. That's not Orlando Brown's game. His game more is to maul you and to run that ball. And for the Chiefs to only run the ball in classic run plays 13 times is inexcusable. 2 for McKinnon for 1 yard, 2 for Pacheco for 9 yards. Clyde got 9 carries for 33. Patrick had to run. He ran 4 times for 21. They even gave Kelsey a carry, 1 for 4. But we have Pacheco. Pacheco is every time he runs the ball, it just looks like he's looking for contact. It like please come in. He looks like a skinny Bam Morris sometimes running the ball. That's what like Pacheco, use him. We have the soldiers. Use them. Jerick McKinnon has the juice. He's the one that brought you the juice last week against the Raiders. Use your running backs. And the Chiefs, I think situationally, like on first down, when Andy Reid runs the ball, he just tends not to run the ball anymore if it's only a 1 yard gain or if it's a TFL or something short yardage. Like he will not run the ball anymore in that line of downs. And that is extremely frustrating for me because it's there to be had. Example, last play of the game, right? Or not last play of the game, the last offensive play for the Chiefs. The Bills rush 3. Von Miller goes inside. Von Miller, he usually goes outside, but for this particular reason, maybe he read something, and I think it was designed like this, but he went hard inside, didn't even fight to get outside of the tackle, right? So then that lets Patrick, okay, I see an opening. I'm just going to go outside and run. All of a sudden, what happens? The spy linebacker comes. It's just like the Bengals. The spy linebacker comes down, forces Patrick to make a decision. Number 7 reads him like a book and intercepts the ball. I think that was by design. But what I'm trying to say is run the ball more. Not particularly in that situation because I think we only had 1 timeout with 54 seconds left or something like that. But there were other points in that game where if the Chiefs had ran the ball, it would have been advantageous to the other players on the team. And that goes to the wide receivers. It opens everything up for those guys. All of a sudden, safeties and linebackers, they're playing down. They're stepping up instead of stepping back. That gives a step for MVS. That gives a step for Mykell. That gives a step for Kelsey. When you get that, you get the running game going, everything falls in line. It is football 1-on-1, and we all know that Andy Reid just, that's the knock on Andy, man. And here it is.
Clyde's biggest game as a rusher. Does anybody know Clyde's biggest game as a rusher?
166 yards at Buffalo 2 years ago.
Exactly.
26-17. Yeah.
So you have to run the ball down their throat, especially we have this guy, Patrick Mahomes, that everybody fears and is scared of. They're building everything around him. So they're going to try to help their corners as much as possible. So when you can run the ball, it's like Andy Reid just threw away the Tampa Bay tape and said, let's throw that away. We ran the ball too well. I don't want to be known for being that team. That's what you have to do. This offensive line is built for that. We're built to punch people in the mouth and make them pay for it. Clyde doesn't have the speed to be east-west, but if he can go straight forward, find a nice hole, he can make some plays in the secondary to get you a 15-yard, 20-yard run. But you have to pound the ball north-south and make these guys pay for it. And like Brian said, then the play action game is open, and then we're going to get Mykell over the top, MVS over the top. MVS' biggest catch down the field was on a play action pass against Tampa Bay. So I just don't understand why they can't see that and try to make people have to game plan for more than just Patrick Mahomes.
And
what you guys are saying, and Brian, you're right. I still think they are running kind of the Tyreek Hill offense, but it makes me sad. Okay, you're right, but it just makes me very sad to hear that we need to run the ball more and use play action, because that sounds like, and like you've said before, that's an Alex Smith offense. That's a Ryan Tannehill offense. You need to get the ball going. You need to run the football so we can play action, draw everybody up, and get these open windows for these limited quarterbacks.
Wait a minute.
Have you been watching football?
Very, very depressed and sad right now.
You've been watching the league this year, right?
Yes.
You've seen. Like there's very rarely any 30-point games, very rarely any 40-point games now. Like scoring is down, defense is up, And they're like, you don't see a lot. Even the Dolphins ain't doing. They did against the Ravens, but other than that, they've been held in check. So you're not seeing a lot of offenses score and do all this wild stuff that the Chiefs used to do. That's the thing of the past right now until they change the rules or do something silly.
We have seen a lot of teams playing a lot of more cover 2 shell. That's kind of since they did it against the Chiefs last year. A lot of teams are adopting that across the league. So we are seeing that.
Noah, this is the crazy part. The 2 games that we scored 40 points, we ran for over 100 yards from our running backs.
Man.
So clearly it can lead to a lot of points. And we can't act like, Mr. Thomas Brady, when he's won all of those Super Bowls, they were always able to run the football. The year that the Patriots had to just pass, they lose in the Super Bowl. So running the football has always been vital to winning in the NFL. It's just Andy Reid has to trust it. I'm having nightmares still, guys. Y'all have to help me about the Cincinnati game. The fact that we ran 80 yards in the first half and ran the ball 4 times in the second half. Like, I'm still having nightmares about.
And we're dropping 8 and we won't run the football. That's the frustrating part.
I was going to let Shane get in, but Shane, I got to get in one more time. I'm sorry. I'm going to let you have it after this. But on that play that Patrick threw the last interception on, the Bills rushed 3 and they had a spy and they had 7 in coverage. Mm-hmm. What does that sound like? The AFC Championship game. It was almost the same exact thing. And that's another concerning part, is that Patrick still hasn't learned that lesson yet. But there's a long season, man.
Yeah. Specifically to that play, Von Miller took care of double team and forced Patrick up in the pocket. Where in my opinion, Patrick Mahomes made the mistake is he pumped and then he threw it around the guy. If he, because he was trying to get around Milano, so he pumped. But when he pumped and then threw it the second time, that safety was able to read, I see Sky Moore coming across. That's who he's trying to hit. And Milano threw it off, and then he had to try to throw it around him. But long story short, in totality, I wanted to give this back to you and Noah, Clint, because it's your show and you guys are doing a great job. The running game cures the slumping tackle situation. If it means Ronald Jones gets off, we need Ronald Jones. We need a proven running back in this scenario. Establish your running game. I know it's not Andy Reid's DNA. Get Wiley and Orlando Brown some confidence because they're getting shredded, and the 49ers are going to take notes of the Chiefs' offensive tackle struggling. So if we establish a running game, I know it's easier said than done. It has to happen. We might need to change head coaches then, Shane. I hear you. Bad news for you. I feel like it'll help our slumping offensive tackles. Thank you.
And Shane,
hard on the tackles here. If we take a look at this, both Chiefs tackles are in the top 5. Yikes. So we just don't mind the crossed out part. Don't read that.
Total pressure surrender. That is scary.
Don't look at that. No, they're top 5. So
that is all here.
That's funny.
Hey, that's a stat you don't want your tackles in.
Yeah.
Well,
let's take a look at what this Bills defense has done. We got Dan Orlovsky breaking down one play. And if you'll kind of watch this, and at the end, if Mahomes just would have given this a little more time to see what the Bills were adjusting to and audibling to, maybe he could have figured out something in this play and figured that they were going to cover 2 because they're showing it all out, cover 0 blitz, and then they check and they drop into cover 2, and Mahomes snaps the ball too fast for me. I think if he would have just waited a few seconds to see what they were going to do, they showed their hand that they were dropping into cover 2, and we'll check out what Orlovsky has to say.
All right, so this is actually my favorite clip of this past weekend's games because it shows how well Buffalo was prepared, studied, coached, and had an incredible plan. So this is the third quarter. It's like 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 7. I want everyone to see the kind of the domino effect of what happened. So right now they are showing what looks to be certainly an all-out pressure Buffalo. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys up at the line of scrimmage. And Patrick was like, okay, here comes their all-out pressure. They had run it this game before, so this is totally justified by him. So see how he's pointing right now? He's going to communicate to Kelsey and change the protection. Like, hey, I think all-out pressure is going to come. I want you to be part of the protection and give me a chance to get the ball out, okay? Now watch. When Kelsey moves, watch what happens. Look at Edmonds' triggers. Kelsey steps down because Patrick's saying, hey, come in, be part of the protection. He triggers. Now they're going to totally change the call from all-out pressure to cover 2, to their Tampa 2. And look at everybody on their defense communicate. Watch everyone. He's looking right at him. Everyone on the defense now starts with him. Incredible job. That is an awesome plan and execution. Look at it from the back angle. Watch Edmonds. Edmonds is totally locked in. Look at him. He is totally locked in on Kelsey. Patrick's pointing. This is a credit to Buffalo now. Kansas City does nothing wrong. And just look at the trigger line of communication. That's a great job. My favorite clip of the weekend. Buffalo's defense was off the charts.
And if you see there, it looked like the linebackers were kind of tipping their hand and bailing out, all three of them, like maybe a second before the snap. I think if you would have given it a couple more seconds, he could have seen that and maybe done another audible or check to something, tell Kelsey, hey, move back out, something there to where he could have seen that. So that was interesting to me, just Dan Orlovsky breaking that down.
Try some H-back draw, man. Y'all remember the big run that we had last week with McKinnon that kind of got us going? It's like a draw play. So, okay, you want to drop in that? You're going to have to try to stop this run. But teams, I just feel they're not going to run the ball that much, so we don't have to worry. So that's why they can do these different exotic things to stop the passing game, because they just, at this point, they're not really fearing the running game to be consistent enough for them to have to make any changes.
I think what you just saw from Dan Orlovsky, which was a great observation, is that it's a chess match. That's what football is at the end of the day, man. You're trying to guess what the other team is doing. You're trying to guess tendencies. You're trying to use things that they've done in the past to try to use it against them to see what they'll do in the future. That's all this is, man. It was great coaching by Sean McDermott and his staff. It was great execution by Josh Allen, and ultimately it was great execution by Von Miller to really kind of seal the game. But another thing I want to point out, though, even with the 2 interceptions that Patrick Mahomes threw, even with Harrison Butker missing a field goal, even with the young guys giving up a couple tutties on those long plays, even with Frank Clark lollygagging and playing ring around the rosy and letting Josh Allen letting his teacup fill up, the Chiefs was still in a position to win this game. And if the Chiefs win this game, it's a totally different mood, totally different conversation. The Chiefs are the best team in the league. The Chiefs are going to Super Bowl 57, 5th straight AFC Championship game at Arrowhead, 7th straight AFC title.
Sounds great.
Look, the thing is, it can still all of that. Yeah. All of that can still happen. Buffalo still got to see Miami again.
The Jets aren't going to be easy.
Yeah, the Jets ain't going to be easy. But Jets ain't a pushover. So it is what it is, man. Despite all of that, the Chiefs were still in the game and still about to win. And please don't listen to these fans, please, because all of a sudden now, because we lose to the Bills at home and a 4-point slobber knocker, you want to trade your first-round pick to go get Christian McCaffrey? What are you doing? What are you talking about?
I just want to trade a 4th-round pick for Kareem Hunt. That's all.
This is why fans should not be GMs. Just stay on Twitter and state your opinion, because that is asinine. You lose a 4-point game to a Super Bowl favorite, and all of a sudden you want to trade your first-round pick. And by the way, the 2023 draft is in Union Station. No way in hell, Clark Hunt is trading that first-round pick. You can forget about it.
Well, that's absolutely great point.
We've got the news that broke, and that kind of goes to what you were saying, Brian. The Chiefs have restructured the contract of Travis Kelce, converting base salary into signing bonus. That clears $3.4 million in cap space. A lot of people saying that's just kind of pay some of these practice squad guys, pay out your rookies, pay out some of these incentives throughout the season. If your receivers stay healthy, they get some incentives. But everyone jumped to the conclusion that means a trade. That means Brian Burns. That means Christian McCaffrey, maybe Robert Quinn, Odell Beckham. So, Brian, we had talked earlier, and you said you may have heard something about Odell Beckham, and not just from a fan.
Yeah, I'm seeing smoke with this OBJ. I want to go on record and say I am not in favor of trading anything for a vet at this point. I think it's too late in the season. No, we got Pacheco.
What?
We got Pacheco.
We
got Pacheco.
Rookie with no vision.
I'm a believer in Pacheco, baby. I am. Oh. Look, it's going to take a while for the receivers to know everything there is to know about this offense. We know Andy Reid's offense is complex. And I'm not saying that Odell Beckham can't pick it up, but what I am saying is he's not going to be as effective as he can be this year. So, but I'm seeing Marcus Spears talk about it. I seen a video of Pat McAfee,
Mhm.
he was alluding to it. And then it's one thing for fans to stir up rumors and to say things, but when it starts leaking in the media, that means people are talking. And Odell was he visiting with the Chiefs last week or 2 weeks ago or what have you? I don't know. I'm pretty sure there are some back room, deals or grumblings going on or whatever, but I am seeing a little smoke with this Odell Beckham Jr. And I wouldn't pull the trigger on it, but I will welcome it with open arms. That's for sure. I mean, I'm not going to deny OBJ in a Chiefs uniform. Are you serious? Bring it on.
Right now, I'll say this about any trade rumors or about specifically Travis Kelce making room for the salary cap. The trade deadline is November 1st. Last year at this time, it was bad because we were a veteran-laden team. We were 3-4. We were in dead last in the AFC West. We just got destroyed 27-3 at Tennessee. And then Brett Veach threw a 6th-round pick or something to the Pittsburgh Steelers to get Melvin Ingram. Melvin Ingram came to Kansas City, and in my opinion, he was the MVP of that team because he lit a spark. For the rest of the season, including playoffs, with Melvin Ingram, your Kansas City Chiefs were 11-2, and those only 2 losses were to Cincinnati. Melvin Ingram was the spark. So if, in my opinion, we need a spark, hear me out before you say, oh, hell no, we're cutting shit off the show. I think the free agent that the Chiefs need to pick up is Ndamukong Suh because of the because of the loss of Tashard Wharton. Tashard Wharton went out in the first quarter against the Raiders. Jacobs ended up rushing for 150. Singletary for Buffalo, oh my gosh, he was averaging 7-8 yards a pop every time they handed it to him. I think that's why they also had the safety towards the line of scrimmage, leaving Joshua Williams one-on-one. The Chiefs need to do something right now. Since they lost Wharton, right now to stop the run because Colin Saunders and Derek Nottie aren't stopping it. I think you alluded to it today on Twitter, Brian. Derek Nottie and Colin Saunders aren't stopping the middle. And the last 2 games since Tashard Wharton's been out, we're getting destroyed with run. We're getting gashed. What's going to happen this Sunday? Even though Deebo Samuels doesn't like to run the football, he's going to run the football a lot. And the 49ers are going to do everything they can to run the football a lot. I'm not going to give you my 49ers preview yet, but for the most part, the Chiefs got to clean up that loss of Tashard Wharton. Don't wait until it's too late. I know Ndamukong Suh came out the same year as Eric Berry. That was 12 years ago. No telling his age. What's his durability? What does he have to learn? We need somebody immediately to pick up that slack, the same slack that Melvin Ingram, in my opinion, addressed when he came in came in last year. Let's just get Ndamukong Suh and put him in the middle and sit him in that rotation. We got to stop this run, fellas, before it gets bad.
They have to trade for Mike Pennell.
Hey, yeah, is Mike Pennell still available? That guy helped change everything. But yeah, I think the Chiefs should be focusing on the D-line, man. I think the D-line will make the corners better, and our corners are playing, pretty solid. Like Josh Williams is right there, and we're going to get back Trent. Fenton's going to be back, but when, like Brian said, when your quarterback can sit back, drink coffee, read the morning page, and then throw a game-winning touchdown, that's a problem. So finding someone who can help Chris up front will be the big thing. So if the Chiefs are going to trade for anything, I think the pass-catching weapons are all right. Use 3 tight ends, please. We have very big and skilled tight ends that we have to use, but we have to find a way to get after these quarterbacks, and it's going to make our defense so much better, especially with the return of Willie Gay this week.
Yo, sign me up for Ndamukong Suh in the Chiefs uniform right next to Chris Jones. Are you serious? He would take the defense up another notch, in my opinion, with an attitude that he would bring. Not the best of attitudes all the time, but I think you need a little nastiness. Everybody can't be a choir boy on your football team. That's just the nature of the beast with football. It is what it is sometimes.
So then Kareem Hunt's welcome back, right?
Well, we're talking about on the field, not.
I think
Chris Lamons.
I think Kareem Hunt will be back next year. It's my opinion.
He's a free agent.
You think so?
Yeah.
He's the only one that makes sense, money and talent wise. I mean, there's Saquon Barkley out there. I mean, you've got Tony Pollard who's a free agent.
Don't tease me. Don't tease me with Saquon Barkley now. He is a monster.
I would kick my own girlfriend right now on video and lie about it to each and every one of you to get Kareem Hunt back in this organization.
Oh, you don't love your girlfriend.
You don't. I'm not kidding.
I hope she's not watching.
Speaking of that,
he was just kidding. He was. That was a joke. Ha ha ha! Everybody.
No, I'm serious.
Amateur hour.
We're going to to cut Clint off here before we get taken off the air. And since Brian just apparently doesn't remember what Kareem Hunt was like here, since he likes Isaiah Pacheco and doesn't really remember what Kareem Hunt did, let's take a look at this monster of a man.
Here we go.
Hunt, plenty of room out of the backfield, makes a man miss, and then trucks another as he runs over Justin Simmons. 2nd and 10. Here's Hunt. Able to keep his balance, and look at him go. Kareem Hunt. How about that? Here's Hunt, and he's in for the score. Kansas City takes the lead. From the 33-yard line, Mahomes surveys, flushed out again. Chase down the sideline, getting free is Kareem Hunt. And Kareem Hunt is able to get Kansas City right back into the game. Man, that was shades of last year here in the opener. 67 yards from the 49-yard line. Hunt gets free again. Kareem Hunt. Down he goes at the 20-yard line. They're on Harmon. And the ball off to Hunt. And a lot of traffic, and then somehow the ball winds up back in Hunt's hands. And he goes all the way down to the 5-yard line. Breaks out of a Dre Kirkpatrick tackle. Looks like he'd be down for sure. Leaps over Mykell Johnson. What a play. His first down and goal. Mahomes on a roll. And Hunt makes the catch. And does he get in? Yes, he does. Touchdown.
Dillon up in the backfield. Little shovel pass caught by Hunt. Broke a tackle of Roby. Hurdles him at the 5. Counted for a touchdown. Holy Toledo. 23-yard touchdown run.
We're not biased at all here, by the way, guys. We are not biased. We have no dog in this fight, but I love you, Kareem Hunt.
No,
Yeah, we told him to come back.
I think the big difference. I think the big difference too was that you knew it was Kareem and it was Darrell Williams. Those are your two backs. Those guys got all the snaps. Now, when you play musical chairs with 3 different running backs, guys really can't get into a rhythm. And the weeks that we had big like running games, guys got into a rhythm. You know, I think Clyde had 18 carries against Tampa Bay, which led to the 90-plus yards. Week 1, when Pacheco led the team with 60 yards and the touchdown, he was able to get 12 carries. I just think there's no rhythm there, and that's where I think the coaching has to come in. Like, who are we going to use? Who are our guys that we're going to use? If it's going to be Clyde and Pacheco, let's make sure that they're in there, you know, all 3 downs. Is it going to be Pacheco and McKinnon? Then that's the way you have to do it. But, of course, having Kareem back will be huge because maybe the trust factor is there. But I think the Chiefs have to decide who are our 2 running backs. The year we won the Super Bowl, it was Darrell Williams, it was Damian Williams, and that was that. So we have to figure out who are the 2 guys that are going to carry the load for the rest of the way.
Look, man, look. I loved Kareem Hunt when he was wearing the 2.
Apparently not.
No, I did. I did. It's just that I don't live in the metaverse. I'm not saying you do, but I think realistically with everything. And I just don't see a scenario where Clark Hunt would sign off on bringing him back to Kansas City. The Chiefs already faced the Blues with, you know, them being the Chiefs, A, B, with, you know, some of the players that they've signed in the past. I'm not sure if they want to welcome that again. And then Kareem Hunt, he's in year, what, 6, 7 now?
27, 22, 27, 28.
And saved as a number 2, just kind of throw in there when Nick Chubb's tired running back. I don't think he's got the wear and tear.
But okay, so what money is he going to command? That's another. Like,
Less
why
than
would
Saquon Barkley?
Okay, I'm not saying go get Saquon Barkley, but he's going to cost more than Pacheco. And Pacheco hasn't proven himself yet, like Kareem Hunt has. And you could argue that the Chiefs' offense was at its absolute best when Kareem Hunt was in this lineup with Sammy Watkins and Tyreek Hill and Demarcus Robinson and company. But be that as it may, I don't see a scenario where you. Plus, Rashad Fenton's got 27. So
Here-
you know what numbers he
Bye,
gonna wear? Huh?
Rashad.
Yeah.
let me
It could be
say
a
this.
single digit now. You can be a single digit number now.
As Kenneth Caldwell just said here on the scroll, can you imagine Isaiah Pacheco with Kareem Hunt? That's a good that would be a dream scenario, Kenneth. And we can expand on this when free agency starts, because we're thinking of the 2022. We could talk about this next spring, but specifically, the Chiefs can get out of Clyde Edwards-Helaire's contract this year. Ronald Jones only is under a 1-year contract. McKinnon's only under a 1-year contract. So the only pure running back after this season ends that is under contract will be, if they wanted to get out of Clyde's contract, is Isaiah Pacheco.
After this year, we won't have any running backs or receivers on the roster. It'll be great.
Here you go.
But specifically the running backs, if and when it happens with Kareem Hunt, I think it will be next year. Kareem Hunt has stayed close to the Chiefs. Kareem Hunt was at Patrick Mahomes' wedding in Hawaii. So he's friends with the family. The family loves him. The team, as you hear, Kelsey still loves him. They wish him the best. You know, when they got rid of Kareem Hunt in December of 2018, it hurt them, but they wanted the best for him. And being in Ohio from Travis Kelce, he still pays close attention to Kareem Hunt. So if and when that happens, we can dissect that in March. But let's talk about San Francisco. What you got, Noah?
Hey.
Well, we got Charvarius Ward out here saying he doesn't want any Chiefs fans at the game. I don't know if that wish is going to come true. I doubt it. We travel well. The Kelceys talked about it on their New Heights show podcast. Who has the better traveling fans, the Eagles or the Chiefs? Of course, Jason Kelce went with the Eagles and Travis went with the Chiefs. And I don't think Charvarius Ward's going to get his wish. I don't know if Charvarius Ward is suiting up for the game. He had a growing injury. And, I mean, I don't know how many defenders are going to suit up. I'm not sure if they're going to have enough guys to field a defense out there, because I think only 2 out of the 11 starters were healthy this past week, and Nick Bosa was out. They're injured all over the place.
Well, hang on, Shaggy. You set the scene for us earlier today, buddy, because you love history just like I do. Not necessarily all kinds of history. I failed American history, but football history, I'm locked in. And in 1971, how old was everybody here in 1971? Well, that's the last time the Chiefs won in San Francisco. This is, of course, Mykell, for those of us that are not geographically sound in California here. They no longer play in San Francisco. It's more like whatever, San Jose up there, an hour north of San Francisco. But to have not beat the Niners on the road since 1971. Now, granted, that's only, I think, 5 games out there. But you guys kind of talked about it. Brian, you mentioned the last thing you want to be worried about here is kind of a pissed off Niners team. But they've, dealing with some injuries here. I think they were missing 11 starters against the Falcons, and we don't know who all quite they're going to get back just yet. But to me, this is a game that the Chiefs have just looked so good against inferior NFC competition. This looks like a game, another good opportunity for the Chiefs to go get healthy, like this Bucs game. The Niners have been up and down. They lost the game 11-10 to the Denver Broncos earlier in the season, which seems inexplicable. They also lost opening week, of course, with Trey Lance. They were the Chicago Bears. So the Niners have a great roster top to bottom. We don't know who's going to be available. And to me, this looks like a game the Chiefs might be able to go and get a little healthy here. But like cautionary tale, this is the NFL. You're gonna have to go play your game here, because the Niners are a very good roster.
Yeah, the 49ers are walking wounded. They're worse than how the Ravens were at the end of last year. But check out this stat though. The Chiefs have more wins against the NFC in the Patrick Mahomes era than 2 NFC teams do. That is wild. The domination that Patrick Mahomes has had over the other conference, it is astounding. And to be honest with you, I don't see it stopping this coming up Sunday. I really don't. I think this is not a statement game for the Chiefs, but a get right game. Yeah. I think the offense, you'll see them click on all cylinders. I think you'll see a great first 15 from Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy. I think you'll see Patrick being sharp. I think you'll see them include the running game and try to get that going a little bit more. Something that the Chiefs, like you mentioned earlier, Mykell, against Tampa Bay, Arizona, the games that we really dominated, that we ran the ball really well. And I think defensively, we getting some starters back. Willie Gay is coming back. Trent McDuffie is coming back. So that's why I was so against the trades earlier, because we're getting additions back on our own team, and we have yet to see this defense at its full strength. So I'm excited for this game coming up. Plus, my big brother is a big 49ers fan. You ask yourself, Brian, how in the hell did that happen with you being such a Chiefs maniac? It's a long story. I'll get into it to a book later on in my life. But be that as it may, I don't want to face a pissed off 49ers team, but this 49ers team, they're limping. They are limping right now, and it's looking bad for that defense. A lot of players are going to be out.
Yeah, I say 27-17, man. I think the Chiefs are going to, the Chiefs are going to be mad. They see what everybody's saying in the media. Then they know, okay, we take care of business. We get a bye week and we get to come back and try to make a run. I think the defense is going to really look well against Jimmy Garoppolo, who is playing very bad, very poorly. We see why the Niners are so fast. Like, take the team to the NFC Championship, you would think they're like, let's run it back. And they were like, hell no. We have to move on ASAP, and we're seeing why. So I think the Chiefs are going to take care of business. I think the running game is going to be key, because we know that if Bosa is able to play, that they're going to try to get after Pat, because they're going to be pissed. This is their rematch after us beating them in the Super Bowl. But I think the Chiefs are going to be too much for them. Look out for the backs to have a big game. And which receiver is going to step up? Is this guy's first 100-yard game of his career? Maybe we might get that. So I can't wait to see it.
Scott needs to move around during the scramble drill when Patrick's trying to make magic. He needs to move around.
Yep.
I don't like this game. I don't like this game for the Chiefs at all. I saw what the 49ers did to the Rams about a month ago. They destroyed them. They ran the football. Garoppolo had time to pass. I hate this matchup. I don't like the Chiefs in this game. I think it's going to be 28-17 49ers. I think they're going to rush for over 100 yards. They're going to eat up time of possession. Nick Bosa is going to have a field day with a struggling Andrew Wiley. But if Andy Reid proves me wrong, if he thinks, man, I don't want to watch Nick Bosa destroy my tackle, I don't want to watch their other defensive end swarm our tackle and have Patrick Mahomes get sacked 7 times before the fourth quarter. If we run the ball, if Andy Reid comes out to make a concerted effort to run the ball, I think we could win 20-10, but I don't have a good feeling in my gut. I want to be wrong. I've been wrong before. I predicted the Chiefs to tie against Tampa Bay, and it didn't happen. I just, my gut.
Maybe this will be the tie. Maybe we can get a tie out of this. Talk yourself into a tie here.
Hold on, Shaggy. Hold on. Let me give you a couple things to brighten up your mood. So, Marcus Mariota, right? He's not in the class of Patrick Mahomes.
Well,
is he? No, he's not.
No.
So let me tell you something. Last week, this guy was 13 of 14, 129 yards and 2 tutties, and he added 50 yards on the ground, I might add. And the Falcons pitched a second-half shutout against 49ers last week. They were the walking wounded for a reason. Here's another thing, Shaggy, which I think will be the difference maker in this week's game. Special teams. 49ers have given up 23.2 yards per kick return. That's 9th in the NFL, and they have 2 field goals blocked. I think this is a chance for Dave Tobe to get back for that Indianapolis game that we lost. I'm telling you, man, I think the special teams are going to make something happen this week.
I hope you're right. I'll be 53 next month, and I've never seen the Chiefs win in San Francisco. They've always been bad, ugly, and hair pulling. And Nick Bosa coming back, I think we have to change our philosophy. I think that team's going to be hungry. I saw what they did to the Rams. What do you think of that Rams 49ers game, Mykell? You saw it too, didn't you?
No, yeah, it was just, a divisional game, man. They match up well. And we clearly see the Rams aren't the same Rams of last year. So you saw the struggles there. And I know the Chiefs haven't won in a long time in, San Francisco. But Patrick Mahomes wasn't the quarterback. That was the big issue with those games. So now with 15 there, he's going to be fired up. He's hearing everybody talk about Josh Allen like he's the best quarterback in the league. I think that you're going to see – this might look a lot like the Cardinals game where the Chiefs are going to run the ball, come up with a lot of different plays just to shut up those naysayers as they head into the bye week and prepare for that run. So my fear level isn't too big. I don't think the Niners are the same team that they were last year. Like you said earlier, Shaggy, Debo isn't running the ball. So if you take that away because he wants to be a pure receiver, hey, that's going to help the Chiefs out. Willie Gay is going to come back hungry. You know, he's going to be pissed. He might break a few vacuum cleaners at this game.
Yikes. We don't want that to happen now.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't do it at his lady's house. But he's going to be there trying to, you know, make some stuff happen just to show the guys, like, man, I miss you guys. And then, you know, we're going to see McDuffie battle against Ayuk and guys like that. I'm confident that the Chiefs are going to take care of business.
Yeah, I like the Chiefs here, guys. And I like it. Like you said, 27-17, Mykell, that works for me. Just write that down for me as well.
Gotcha.
I like the Chiefs' focus on the road. If you look throughout Patrick Mahomes' career, and we're going to have to do a documentary on this, Noah, the Chiefs' focus and energy level on the road. If you can look at stats, you look at scores, the Chiefs on the road are a different animal. I can't explain it. I don't know what this is. That has not, of course, been the case in the playoffs because there's not been a road playoff game to compare it to. They've all been at home. But this team's only got to 2 Super Bowls after hosting every game at home in the playoffs in 4 years. So going on the road here, I like going on the road. I like the refocus that maybe it brings. There must be something about it that kind of refocuses this group, and I like it. Mykell, I'll just go with your score there. Not to piggyback off it too much, but that sounds about right. Hard to imagine the Chiefs getting 30-plus against the Niners without some turnovers and some special team stuff, but you mentioned that, Brian. All that's possible here. I like the Chiefs.
Yeah, I like the Chiefs too, but I'm a little bit more with Shaggy. I think this is going to unnecessarily and frustratingly be a very close, tough, hard-fought game, and I don't want it to be, because we've seen what the Falcons just did to them. But like you said, if Nick Bosa's coming back, they're getting healthy on defense. I could see this being like a 27-23 type game that the Chiefs kind of squeak out late, and it's just frustrating and don't want to see it. But I think that's just what we're in store for here. And so is everybody giving their score prediction? We got
Brian has not.
No, I didn't. Let's see. Greenlaw might be out. Ibaka might be out. 29 might be out. Who is
Tonga? Yeah, he just went into concussion protocol.
Yeah, he is a playmaker.
35. Our man Ward.
And look, yeah, you know, I usually I think the games are usually close. Fellas, I really think the Chiefs are going to win this game 30-15. That's what I'm going with. I think their defense is too decimated. The Chiefs are going to be laser focused on the road, as you just said, Noah. It's petty Patrick Mahomes. He's going against the 49ers again from the Super Bowl. This is the first time he's seen them since Miami in 2020 on February 2nd. Please give me the Chiefs by 15, please.
Well, we have a comment here, and this is off topic. We've given our thoughts on the Niners, but just this goes back to the Kareem Hunt thing. Biggest mistake in the Veach era. Should have just sat Kareem Hunt for multiple games. When the thing went down, I said suspend him for the rest of the season and suspend him maybe 8 games in the next season. Like suspend him for the action for the rest of the season. Suspend him like 8 games in the next season for the lie. And so you got both of those covered. And then he comes back and everything's hunky-dory, right?
And no one remembers a thing about it now. He's been on the Browns now for 3 years, and we haven't heard another word about the incident. He's out there playing, and he should be. He's a great guy. We met him, Noah. And he told us he wishes he was in Kansas City. He straight up told us that. So.
Biggest mistakes in Veach. How about Breland Speaks? How about him?
That's up there.
The Frank Clark contract is probably wasn't the best move that he made.
Yeah,
Frank Clark. Orlando Brown probably wasn't the best one either. But you know what? Now that you brought that up, and I thought about this yesterday, Tyrann Mathieu. Didn't look good against the Jamar Chase and them Bengals last week. And you ask yourself, Brian, why are you bringing up Tyrann Mathieu? I love him to death. I loved him when he was with Kansas City. But I think that's one of the best decisions and one of the best free agent acquisitions in history, because I think the Chiefs got him right in his sweet spot. I think the Chiefs got him right when he was still athletically at his peak, but then he was at his peak mentally too. I think he had the game on lock in 2019. I think the Chiefs really got the best of Tyrann Mathieu, and we got to look back now and give Brett Veach his props on not offering him a contract, and you know he missed that tackle against Jamar Chase, and we saw it here last year at times.
Maybe this will be a good conversation for the bye week, but just the whole Brett Veach thing and some of his missteps and the things that he's hit on, the L'Jarius Sneeds of the world. But the more I think about it, the more I'm kind of 50-50 on Veach, and the number of missteps that he's making are climbing. And so I'm kind of 50-50 on him, and just I don't know where this is going long-term wise.
Really?
Everyone just love Brett Veach. He's great. He's golden. Just keep it going.
Let's break that down. Let's expand on that next week.
Yeah, please. Let me think about that one. I'm gonna get at you on that one, though.
Yeah. Top 5 biggest Veach blunders coming next week on Arrowhead Allies. And it's going to be a good one.
The Chargers here tied with us at 4-2. Someone commented that, so we'll just kind of go into this real quick and look at the standings. This would be your playoff teams as of week 6.
No, we don't want to play the Colts. No.
Even if there is a playoffs, I don't know.
Arrowhead, I like it.
The Bills won the October Super Bowl, but
in Kansas City, I like the Colts. I think the Chargers. I was looking at their schedule. They got the Seattle with that great quarterback Geno Smith over there doing his thing, which is crazy what he's doing. You got at Atlanta, at the Niners, Chiefs, at the Cardinals with Hopkins back, at Raiders. Like, their schedule looks really tough, and with them, they've been so up and down. And like we all saw yesterday, like, I can't believe they're 4-2 with the team, and without a healthy Bosa, they can easily lose 2 or 3 games straight, and within that stretch, to where I think the Chiefs are going to walk away with this division like they usually do. I remember, I think it was last year, around middle of the season, everybody, are the Chargers going to finally, are the Raiders? And it just didn't happen. I don't expect anything, just because they're the injuries have really killed them. Keenan Allen, like, when will he be healthy again? There's some worry out there in Charger land.
How about that Jets-Titans wild card matchup?
I can't wait.
Yes, sir. Sign me up.
Man, we
to go apple picking at that time. So whenever that game is, I can lock those in.
Well, guys, we'll be back next week, hopefully talking about a Chiefs win over the San Francisco 49ers and looking ahead. Yeah, we want Shane to be wrong so bad, and we're going to give it to him pretty good here if he is. So, guys, thanks so much for joining us here on Arrowhead Allies. Each and every one of these gentlemen, this is, to me, the mega power is exploding off the launching pad. Every single person here does such a great job, and we can't thank you enough for checking in with us each and every week, guys. It's been great. All the comments, everything that you guys do for everybody here, Arrowhead Allies. We'll be back next week talking some bye week.
Maybe Roofing and Solar.
Oh, thank God. Oh, I can't stand it.
We got to get you guys shirts, Brian, Shane, Mykell. So when we get off here, hit us with the design you want, the size, and we got to get you guys some shirts. And all the fans out there, make sure you visit Starcade Media on Facebook, our Facebook page. Hit shop now, and you can get your Arrowhead Allies merch as well.
Hey, throw me that hoodie, man. It's going to get cold eventually in LA, I believe.
Oh, come on. The LA guy wants the hoodie.
Nah, I want an Arrowhead Allies onesie. That's what I want with the
working on that.
The biggest hoodie